So obviously a disappointing game. One that we didn't play well enough to win. Give the Cowboys credit; they made a lot more plays than we did, and certainly, I'd say in all three phases, there's plays out there that we need to do a better job of. So, continually trying to improve this and get it better. I think the biggest thing for us right now that I'm continually talking about is the penalties and the penalty situation, and it just continues to hurt us. So put ourselves in some really tough situations by committing some of those penalties. Some of them, I know we can clean up. Some of them are just concentration penalties that we got to do a better job of, and some of them obviously is when our technique fails and we get outside the things that we're supposed to do. So we got to get that cleaned up. Like I said, I think team played hard. They fought. We kind of had a couple situations out there. We had to make some adjustments, both with players that were, on and off the field and things like that through the course of the game. Guys did a good job with that. But, in the end, like I said, the Cowboys, they just made more plays than we did, and give them credit. That's a good team. They got a lot of talented players over there, and it was a tough day for us with them. So that's about it. What do we got?
You said that you made a long phase. Your offense was at 27 million. The backup quarterback and running back was your best one 2 days ago. Shouldn't that be enough to win, considering what you had to work with in this league?
I think that's a flat stat line. I think what you're looking at is the course of the game and how it goes, and what we, how the game goes from those situations. We get an extra opportunity to keep the ball on a, design play where we got them, drawn off sides and we go backwards, and there's certain things earlier in the game where we're trying to, take control of things, and certainly, like I said, there's positives out there for both units and some of the things that we did, offensively and defensively, and even special teams. But in the end, we're trying to play a better team game from that aspect of it, and there's certain points all the way across the board that just got to be better, offensively, defensively, and special teams also.
Matt, you regularly praise your fan base for the way they travel, for the way they show up here.
Yeah.
This was a game where the road team, your fan base really took over at many points. How disappointing was that for you as a coach and your players?
For us, we're just out there playing hard. Our fans are great. They're out there, they're cheering hard and trying to support us and do everything they can to help us. So that's really it.
What does it say, though, about where the organization is or the team is, though, that fans maybe didn't have enough hope to show up and sold those tickets, whatever it is?
That's really, I have no idea why, what the situation is and who bought tickets and who didn't. We're just, focused on the game. The game wasn't good enough for us.
Defensively, you were pretty good against the run.
For a second straight week that the pass got you again. I think it's 5 straight weeks now. Opposing quarterbacks had over 100 passer rating, 3 touchdowns. What's been the issue that's been given that part of the defense?
Yeah, I think obviously we knew the Cowboys, they have 2 major issues that you got to stop. Number one is the run game, and that would be both the quarterback and the running back. And then they were tops in the leagues in big play passes downfield. So in the games, as you look at it, where they're allowed to do both, and certainly where they can run the ball, and you can't stop the play action shots downfield off of it. You got, a lot of problems through the course of the game. Very important for us to try to stop the run, so at least we could, be able to maintain and stay in it. Obviously, we don't want to give up those big plays. Those situations. Third down was part of that too. We just gave up too many third down plays and extended some of those drives. There was a couple where we gave up big plays and we were able to settle down and get off the field, but just not do it consistently enough. So, they've got a lot of skilled players. They've got a lot of fast players. They do a great job. They make a lot of plays. None of that was news to us. We knew that going in, and we had to, go out there and perform. So we didn't get it done as far as that's concerned, and they capitalized on it, certainly.
Sorry, Matt. At 3-6-1 now, do you have to reassess your quarterback situation going forward, and whether it's wise not to play Stafford going forward and giving Driscoll a chance to get more comfortable?
I think for us right now, we just came off the game. We're going to go back and evaluate the game and take a look at it. And, for us, we're going to always try to push to do whatever we can to win the next week. And, we'll make those decisions as we go.
The 2-point conversion decision
at
the end, can you just explain, I guess,
the
mathematics of this?
Yeah, going into the fourth quarter, at the start of the fourth quarter, when kind of those scenarios come up, we kind of take evaluation of, all right, where's the game going, what's kind of positive, what's not going so well, what do we think our best chances are, and then really what you do is you fast forward to the end of the game and say, all right, are you going to be, going for a 2-point play here or not, or what, what's your decision making? So once I kind of, go through those, that thought process there and decide that, probably in the situation we were in, we're going for 2 at the end of the game, then really what you want to do is you want to take a shot at, 2 2-point plays, and, hopefully you get the first. If you don't, then you can go to your second 2-point play at the end, and then then obviously go for the tie at that point. But it's really kind of something you start thinking about well in advance from that, and it's kind of how all it works out. The 2-point thing, though, is, as soon as you commit to it, though, you got to stay with it from that standpoint. So it's one of those things where you try to judge momentum swing, through the fourth quarter and figure out what's going in which direction. And certainly at that point, if we were able to score those touchdowns and be in those positions, then the offense would have probably swung things in their favor at that point. Probably would have felt pretty good about the 2-point at the end of the game.
What kind of boost did Bo Scarborough give you today?
Yeah, I think he's been working really hard since we got him. He's a big back. He comes downhill, and some of the things that we saw, wanted to give him that opportunity to go out there and show us what he could do. I thought he ran hard. I thought he showed the physical part of the run game that that was good for us to see. Certainly. We got to go back and look at all of the runs and the decisions and the vision and all the rest of it. But I just thought it definitely gave some life to some of the downhill runs that we had and some of the physicality in the run game that we needed.
What is Driscoll showing you so far? And the fact that he can step in and you guys still scored 27 points, what does that say about your offense?
I think those guys, the coaches do a good job of preparing those guys, and I think we got players out there that are working really hard to try to execute the game plans. I think, Jeff's doing a great job of going out and try to run the offense and, being efficient with the ball. He's certainly very athletic, gives us a little bit of a different dimension, I would say, with his athleticism and some of the things that we're able to do with him. So he remains real calm out there. He's not a guy that's wide-eyed. He's been in the position before. So for us, it's just, keep trying to just improve, overall.
Where do you see progress on the defense this year? Because we don't see a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you see?
Yeah, I think the progress is really, I would say, again, like we talked about it, the inconsistency of what's going on. I'd say it makes it hard for you to sit up here and say every single week this has gotten better, because it's like one week this is really good and the next week it's not as good as it should be. So for us, we got to just, try to be consistent at something. Obviously, it was, better in the run for the second week in a row. Maybe that's something we can, hopefully keep improving on from that standpoint. But for us, we just got to be more consistent.
Is that a game-specific comment, or everything across the board? More consistent?
As far as the team, or as far as?
When you say that, do you mean just we need to be more consistent on some days, or we need to be more consistent with how we're practicing and sort of everything that goes into it?
I would say, the consistency would start, Sunday. That's majorly what we're evaluated on, and when we go Sunday to Sunday with the game. So that's, that stuff's got to build from week to week. Through the course of the week, we talk about it all the time about trying to get, something extra done to, kind of solidify the, maybe the lines that we've established for where we want to be and to try to improve on those and make sure it doesn't fall below that. So certainly something that we talk about.
Consistency is something you've talked about.
Yeah.
For weeks now,
Yeah.
months maybe. Why do you think it hasn't happened?
You know what? It's something we're trying to figure out. Obviously, if we're working hard to do different things to, try to get it consistent. I think, some of the different movements that we've had from a roster standpoint, injury standpoint, things like that, obviously, are tough in those situations, and certainly within the game, when we have some of those moving parts too, those factor in. So for us, we gotta try to get that right. Frank is actually going to be evaluated right now for concussion. All right, so the doctors were taking a look at him.
Any more questions?
Trey Flowers as well. Yep.
And then with Tracy, I know you like to see guys a lot with contact practices before you put them out there. What
Yeah.
did you see from Tracy that allowed him to, clear, if he could get the green light for the game?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
We had done a couple things with him through the course of the week, and just really saw everything looked normal. Everything looked fine from the physical standpoint. So had a couple packages that we thought it would be good, for him to be in and kind of not really be in a situation where it'd be high risk from that standpoint. Certainly, then obviously in the game just kind of felt a little bit of something. So we just thought it was better to be a little bit safer there.
Was it a re-injury or was it something?
I'm not exactly sure I don't think it was a re-injury, but it was all kind of symptomatic.
Do you spend any time with Martha Ford and Mrs. Ford after a game like this?
I spend time with Mrs. Ford and her family every week.
After a game, though,
It's all, some of it it all kind of changes based on some of the things that happen, and how much I get off.
you talked to her today. We don't hear from her a lot, so
Yeah, sure. I would just say, just in general, today, you know what, I was kind of trying to catch up on some of those guys that we were just talking about there with making sure the players and stuff like that. Some of that stuff during the game happens, and you know, I don't necessarily get caught up on some of that. So I was trying to catch up on a couple of them because I knew you guys would ask. Okay.
Last one, guys. In the season, are there big enough defensive changes you can make to kind of maybe shift things, or is it kind of you always want?
I mean, I think for us, we're always trying to improve every week. So I don't think we just kind of sit back and say, you know, that's it, we're good, or we're not good. I think we try to get better. Again, you know, we just trying to improve every single week with what we're doing. So, I mean, the defensive staff works really hard. They're trying to put the best, you know, game plans they can together. And look, I'm involved in all aspects of the team. So all that stuff's, you know, it's normal. Okay. Appreciate it.